Hello, everyone. So, welcome back to Grace Nicole Myths, Astrology and Tarot. We are going to continue with the check ins. We're doing house by house with the zodiac signs. I have already done Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. This one will be for Libra, Scorpio, and Sag. All of the timestamps will be in the description. If you do not know your birth chart, you may want to figure it out, or you're going to be a little bit lost with these readings, okay? Because we're going to be doing the energy moving through each of the signs per whatever house it rules in your birth chart. Okay, so if you're a Libra rising, Libra first house, we're going to read that energy. If you're Scorpio fifth house, then we're gonna read what is going on for those of you who have the fifth house ruled by Scorpio. How do you know if the sign rules that house? The sign starts that house. Okay. That specific zodiac sign starts the house, and or it's intercepted inside the house, meaning it doesn't start or end the house, but it's wedged inside of it. Okay, so we're going to get into this. Spirit, please. We are starting with Libra. Again, all the timestamps will be in the description afterwards. It's going to take me a minute to go through them all, but I will get them. Okay. So, Spirit, what is going on with Libra, Libran energies, and the houses? What is going on with Libra and Libran energies? In the houses, Libra and Libran energies. Libra rising, Libra second house, third house, fourth house, fifth house, sixth house, seventh house, eighth house, ninth, 10th, 11th, and Libra in the 12th. Page of Wands is on the bottom of the deck. The Magician is on top. Overall energy for Libra then, you know you've got to be able to work your magic and kind of pull out all the stops in whatever area of life Libra rules for you. It is all about the reinvention, okay? This is all about fresh energy and overall guidance for Libran energy in whichever house Libra rules for you. What is the overall guidance, please, Spirit, for Libran energies for each house? What is the overall guidance for Libran energy for the house that Libra rules for them? Unity. The guidance, Libra. Libra and energy is unity, which is no surprise, Libra being the house of partnerships, right? That's the natural ruler of the 7th house. So unity, remember and understand that the love shared with another is amplified and has a ripple effect across the universe. So Libra, focus in not just on your connection within yourself, but allow that to mirror in your outer experience per these houses, okay? That it's not just something you are doing all on your own, but that you legit have love shared with another that does have a very rippling and healing effect. Okay, so as we get into the houses, Libra rising has the Strength card. So if you have Libra ruling your first house, Libra rising with the Strength card may definitely be aspecting on your Leo energy. Okay, whatever placements Leo has in your chart, especially because that would put Leo, right? Because Leo would most likely be in your 11th house of hopes and dreams, which is connected to apologizing and compassion, right? Extending compassion for another, putting yourself in their shoes. This is about quieting the egoic mind that wants to roar or wants to stay mad or wants to stalk the shit out of its prey type energy, and really getting in touch with your feminine receptive energy, which is all about being able to create and or act in flow so that you can receive your highest outcome. So Libra risings, this is about you putting your ego aside and really allowing yourself to feel through things, right? It's not about how you think you feel about a person, it's what your soul knows about a person, right? When you're dealing with other people. And so this is about getting your pride, right? Lion symbology, your pride in check. And really listening to what your soul is telling you about yourself and or others. Okay. Libra ruling the second house. The second house is the house of possessions, things, and including people that we feel belong to us in soul, right? That we feel connected to in soul. So Libra second house, we have the 10 of Cups. This is an awesome card for those of you who are Libra second housers. This is about feeling like you have everything you need. You have everything that you want. Feeling like things are working out for you. Dreams being fulfilled. You might end up coming into the manifestation, whether someone brings it in for you or whether you are capable of achieving it yourself. Getting something that you've really, really wanted for a long time, and it just makes everything feel, because it's cups, right? Feel complete. All right, Libra second house. Libra third house is the house of communications and or education. And we have the 2 of Swords. So Libra third housers may really be struggling with communicating and feeling like their hands are tied, or they're blocking their heart out, and they're blindfolding themselves or refusing to see something right in front of them. Okay, the 2 of Swords, this person may be refusing to see something that's right in front of them and having a failure to communicate. You may also want to note your moon sign and whatever, ruler, whatever zodiac sign your moon is in, because you may be in the shadow element of your moon sign. Okay, every sign has a light attributes and shadow or dark attributes, and you may be having a difficult time communicating because of conflicted energies coming from the shadow of your moon sign. Okay, moons are our emotional, feminine, receptive, intuitive energy in our charts, and so blocking out that energy, blocking out your emotions, is probably causing difficulty with communicating. You may be over analyzing or looking at things for what you think they are in the reality versus what is really going on a soul level. Okay, you might be seeing things too much for face value and not enough for the bigger picture. Libra fourth house, we have the 5 of Cups. Now, the 4th house is the house of home and the house of maternal energies, okay? Maternal energies. So, lessons involving mothers, whether it's your mother or other mothers in your reality. This is the 5 of Cups. And understand, whatever mother wounds you may have, whatever your judgments of your mothers are, whatever your criticisms of your mothers are, whatever animosity or anger you hold towards your mother, it's manifesting as a pretty grievous heartbreaking type reality wherever you are, okay? Because home is also indicative of the self. So you may be really having a difficult time loving the parts of yourself that come from the wounds of your mother, okay? Understand, Libra 4th house. If you're having or dealing with heartache, or you're feeling like something is lost and are trying desperately to replace it, you have to heal your mother issues first. Whatever issues you have with your mother caused this energy. Really try and find forgiveness for your mom for not being perfect or having wounding, not understanding her life or why she chose things or what she was taught was acceptable, that you learned was acceptable and it's not acceptable. You know what I mean? Because whatever you're mirroring in shadow from your mother is creating a really fucking sad reality, to the point where you might be crying over spilled cups with third party situations, especially family relations, because these are blood cups that are spilled. You might be dealing with the reality that you have to let family go in order to get the soulmate or the 2 of Cups, right? That is still standing behind you. If you think you lost someone indefinitely, Libra 4th housers, please understand that you did not. And you might definitely have a home in waiting with a 2 of Cups, right? A soulmate type energy. Someone who is sacred to you that is still standing, and you're not even looking at them or focusing on them or even thinking that their home is an option, right? Because this is the 4th house. So really consider that. Libra 4th house, if you are dealing with heartbreak, it's probably because you're looking at it from a pained perspective with maternal wounding, that kind of shook the reality and created what you're in. But there is still an option here that is very solid with someone who loves you very much. Okay, so keep that in mind, Libra 4th house. Libra 5th house, we have the 9 of Swords. Now the 5th house is about sex and creativity and kundalini type energy and passion and purpose. And so Libra 5th housers may either be stressing out about their sex life or the lack thereof, dealing with surprise pregnancies that they weren't anticipating and are now freaking out about. They could also be having like what is essentially a midlife crisis over passion and purpose, okay, and feeling like maybe you don't have one or have any. You know, that maybe you've just been living life and doing what you're doing, and you're not exactly sure what to keep doing because you don't actually want to do what you're doing. You may have gotten yourself in a serious nightmare scenario, Libra 5th house. You might not be wanting to see it or face it. A certain demon in the mind, right? A certain shadow in the room, so to speak. You might want to pay attention to your nodal placements. I'm just pulling that energy. You might want to pay attention to your north and south node and try and get in touch with the integration of those polarities. Because south node is a lesson from past lives that you've already learned and mastered and is now your comfort zone. And so falling back into your comfort zone yields instant karma, like a slap on the wrist, so to speak, when you fall into that comfort zone. But when you fall into the north node is destiny's direction. Is the path in which you are mastering. So when in doubt, step into the uncomfortable. Take your hands off your eyes so that you can see and really step into the direction of your north node. Okay? Whatever your north node sign is, step into that energy, because that's going to help you release this pressure in your 5th house, especially if your nodes, any of your nodes are in the 5th house. Okay? Just be aware of that. Nine of Swords is a nightmare state that can easily be overcome when you open your eyes and realize it is only dark because you've covered your eyes. It's not really dark and dismal. It just appears that way because you're blocking your own vision. All right, so fall into the alignment of your north node, wherever that lands in your chart, okay? Libra in the 6th house, we have the Four of Swords, which is the house of health and greater service to other people in the community, right? Spiritually, your spiritual ripple, so to speak, to others. The energy that you put out and project. So we have the Four of Swords here, which is a card of rest and is depicted with the coffin. So Libra 6th house, check your health, okay? Make sure, like, take a trip, especially if you've been feeling under the weather lately or feeling physically like something's off. Maybe you've been exceptionally tired. You may have something going on with imbalances, like hormonal imbalances or organ issues that need strengthening. Like, some of you may, I'm just getting, some of you may need some serious fiber. Like digestive issues. Just be aware if you have Libra in the 6th house that you may be doing something that is detrimental to your health that needs to be discovered and checked out, right? So that you can shift and change your habits to better your health. You may also be sleeping on the job, so to speak, when it comes to your spiritual alignment. All right, and the energy that you're putting out there. So, you know, fear state, feeling like things impossible, feeling like things never work out, feeling uninspired. Take some time to ground. Okay, take some time to ground and trust that the right aligned people will be made available to you. Okay, that you will either find them and discover them, or that they will cross your path in one or the other, and or the other, okay, for Libra 6th house. Definitely check your stress levels, because if something is stressing you out in life, you probably need to say goodbye to whatever that stress causing element is, okay? Libra in the 7th house, we have the Knight of Swords. Now, this is the 7th house of partnerships. If it's ruled by Libra, it is the house natural to Libra, and it's all about communication with the Knight of Swords. Straight up have a conversation. Even if it's a hard conversation, because the Knight of Swords isn't always about happy, fluffy rainbow conversations. It's about truth-wrenching situations where the gears are fucking stuck and the truth is the wrench, and it unsticks the fucking stuck situation and gets things ticking again, gets things moving in the right direction. So if you're a Libra 7th houser, have the hard conversations, not with hard energy within yourself. Like, come from a very open, loving, unconditionally loving heart space that just needs to be fucking honest and real. Okay, whether you're dealing with romantic partnerships or business partnerships, please be honest and let things transpire from there. Because the truth, anytime we hide the truth, it gets really, the reality of the relationship dynamics get really fucking annoying. So have a clear-cut communicative experience with someone else, okay? Whoever you need to have a communicative experience with, you might want to accept that reality and conversation needs to be had. Like, if you already are aware of it, just say, hey, Spirit, I know this conversation needs to be had. Guide me to the right timing. I already know it needs to be had. I accept. Guide me to the right timing. I'm not going to force it. Allow it to just naturally present itself so that we can have this conversation, this much needed conversation, and let it be. Okay, that's Libra 7th house. Libra 8th housers, we have the Queen of Cups. So 8th house is all about death, regeneration, transformation, intimacy, It's all about inheritance, legacy, and children. Okay, the scorpionic, naturally scorpionic ruled house covers a lot of area. And it's the Queen of Cups. And so the Queen of Cups in this particular Rider-Waite is actually holding an urn. Okay, and being in the house of death and rebirth and regeneration, there may be actual loss, or you may be dealing with a lot of issues surrounding someone who you have already lost, who you're having a hard time accepting is no longer here. Okay, understand if you're dealing with that scenario, they have given you every experience to learn from, leading by example for you to learn from what does and doesn't work, and they have already given you the exceptional advice from their heart that they could give you in order to help you forward. Okay, Libra 8th house. You may also be having an exceptionally hard time letting go of a very nurturing person, in which case you may need to pick up that dead relationship, and really let it rebirth itself, right? Phoenix energy, which is indicative of Scorpio. So Libra 8th house, whatever is nurturing for you, pick it up. Pick it up, whether it's a nurturing memory, a nurturing advice given from the past, a nurturing person that was let go of, so that you can absolutely create what is essentially legacy with your life, right? When people look back and remember you in life, they remember you in positively aligned ways that ripple healing. All right, that you would create that kind of a legacy. This is an emotional legacy that we're talking about in the month of September, right? Libra 9th house. Libra 9th house. 9th house is all about mental exploration and expansion and travel. It's about the higher perspective, long-term things. And we have the 7 of Cups here, which is all about confusion and not knowing what path to take. Listen, Libra 9th house, if it's not a fuck yeah, it's a fuck no, don't fucking choose it. Okay, not now. If it's not a fuck yeah, it's a fuck no, not now. Might be a fuck yeah tomorrow, but if it's not a fuck yeah right now, then it's not a fuck yeah right now. You're going to have to wait until tomorrow to find out if it's a fuck yeah tomorrow. Because there's a lot of options. There's a lot of options. And you can go, into victory mindset and tackle money. You can go into a path of opening up old doors and finding your shadows and demons are still in there because you haven't fucking slayed them, right? You could walk down a path with a fucking snake in the grass who is charming as all hell and has it in for you. Like, really listen to your gut. Libra 9th house. And if you've got to make a move, allow it to be more spontaneous. All right, the 9th house is naturally ruled by Sagittarius. It's exceptionally lucky being a Jupiterian house. So whatever is going on with Libra 9th housers, please be aware. If it is not a fuck yeah, it's a fuck no. If it's not a fuck yeah, it's a fuck no. If it's not a fuck yeah, it's a fuck no. Like, ingrain it in your head. If not every single part of your being makes it so easy to make that choice, it's fucking easy. Like, no problem. Absolutely. Can do right now. Like, if it's not a fuck yeah, and it's not easy for your soul to make that decision, it's a fuck no, because you probably need either more information in order for it to be a fuck yeah, or it is completely out of alignment and it's going to take you down a path of distraction that you're going to have to, detour your way back after hitting a dead end. That's Libra 9th house. Don't let envy get the better of you either, because sometimes when we wish we had what other people had, we make rash decisions trying to achieve it. Trying, right? The bullshit word. Trying to achieve something instead of just knowing that it's already on its way to us when we're in alignment, and allowing ourselves to be in alignment so that what we want that others have can just simply come of our experience instead of chasing after it. Because what happens when you chase things? They fucking run. Don't chase an experience. It's only going to get further away, not run you. Okay? That's Libra 9th house. Libra 10th house is all about career, reputation, and paternal lessons or father lessons, right? Father energy. So it could be father figures in your life, fathers that you know in your life, your father. Okay, this is all about Six of Swords energy, which is about moving forward. Whatever your father did in their shadows and their addictions and their shortcomings, please make sure that you are moving forward and elevating out of that energy, that you are not the same. Like, you are not the same. Male or female, doesn't matter who's watching. If you're a Libra 10th house, do not make the same fucking mistakes that your dad did. How do you know if it was a mistake? It caused stress. It hurt their kids. It hurt their partners, the people that they loved and cared about or claimed to love and care about. Their shadows were detrimental to the people that needed them to be unconditionally loving and considering. If your father or fathers in your life made those mistakes, please do not repeat those mistakes. If your father had a temper, please curb your temper. It hurt you growing up, right? So why would you continue to have a temper knowing that it's hurting people? People that you claim to love. You follow what I'm saying? This is a time for you to move on mentally from what was creating turbulence in your reality to a mindset that creates more peace in your reality. So Libra 10th house, you are not your father. You are not making their mistakes. You are your own person with your own mind and your own manifesting ability to create better than what they did. Choose your path. Because if your father created suffering and wounding that you are still as an adult fucking healing from, do you really want to put that shit on other people that you claim to love? No, you don't. No, you fucking don't. So heal your shit, right? 10th house is about self-ownership. This is your reputation. How do other people perceive you? Do they perceive you as an asshole? Do they perceive you as a fucking bitch? Like, how do you want to be perceived? Because the 10th house is all about the image that you're projecting outwards. It's the projection or the you, the character of you that other people receive. And just because you love them in your heart doesn't mean they're receiving that in your outer experience. Because if you're an asshole or you're a bitch, you're an asshole or you're a bitch. It doesn't matter if you love them. You're being received as negative. You're being received as toxic. You're being received as a person they don't want to be around. So keep your 10th house in check. How do you want to be perceived and received by other people? What reputation do you hold? Because that is what you need to move forward in and elevate in. Someone that creates and is more inspired by peace than being right and or conflict. Okay, allow yourself to grow beyond your father's wounds. And the fathers around you in your life, right? If you're dealing with other paternal energies in your life. Libra, 11th house. 11th house is the house of dreams, goals, wishes, friendships, right? This is soul tribe type energy. Libra in the 11th is Page of Cups is about forgiveness and compassion, right? Putting yourself in someone else's shoes, seeing from their eyes, right? Attempting anyway to see from their eyes, had they lived their entire life prior to meeting you and all that they have gone through, and then experiencing you with all of that back memory, right? All of those trauma memories that they've experienced. Putting yourself in someone else's shoes and allowing yourself to not want to wound them further. To take their wounds into account and not rip off the scab before it's healed. You follow? It's also about apologizing not just to your soul tribe, but to yourself when you make faulty decisions or take actions in alignment that did hurt other people without consideration of them. right? That it was a selfish or impulsive choice strictly in regards to the self and consideration of the self with no consideration for anybody else. An example that's not hateful, right? Maybe Libra 11th housers, you have a tendency to talk your fucking friends' ears off, and it's distracting them from things they really need to do in life. And they feel bad telling you that they can't stay on the phone or they can't hang out for more than an hour. And your vibration is, well, I'm just enjoying you. I'm just having conversation. I'm just talking and blah, 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 blah. And they only got a half an hour and they can't get a word in because you're motor mouthing. And 2 hours goes by and now they're upset because they missed this or they missed that, and you don't have a care in the world because you had the best conversation ever and you're just not even thinking about how that affected them, right? As an example, you got to forgive yourself for being what is essentially needy to the detriment of other people's needs and not considering them, because your friend ain't gonna answer the next time if they got shit to do. You know what I mean? It's inconsiderate. You might cost yourself friends being selfish. So the Page of Cups is an acknowledgement of compassion and forgiveness, forgiving yourself and forgiving others for where they hurt you, especially if that friend stopped answering their phone and that hurt you. They hurt you when they stopped answering. Forgive them for not answering because you need to forgive yourself for being needy. And it's not their fault that you were needy and putting them in a detrimental, rock and hard place decision where they had to choose you or their own detriment. You know what I mean? That's the kind of metaphoric energy going on with Libra 11th house, because that is going to be keeping your dreams, goals, and wishes at bay, not addressing those issues, being in the 11th house. Libra 12th house. Libra 12th house, we have the 8, or the 7, not the 8, forgive me, the 7 of Wands. Now the 12th house is about self-undoing, fear, and illusion, okay? It is the house of fear. It is where we hold in our subconscious fears that undo our highest good path. It is where we create illusion, where we have some story going on in our head that is so true, but it's not the fucking reality. We're just fearing that it is. And when we fear that it's the reality and the truth and that manifests, it fucks everything. The 7 of Wands is defensive. It is self-defense. I have to defend myself, because if I don't defend myself, nobody else will defend me. Maybe no one's actually aggressing you or attacking you. Maybe you feel attacked, like you need to defend yourself, but maybe they're not attacking you. Maybe they're trying to help you. Maybe their words are coming out sharp or their words are coming out frustrated, but they're not actually attacking you. They're trying to help you. And you feel this need to defend yourself instead of listening. Why are they up in arms against you? Why? Libra 12th house, please stand down, like put your weapons down. Just listen beyond the emotion of whatever is being communicated to you via words or actions, and let your spirit kind of feel it out. It's not about your feelings. It's not about what you think. It's about what your soul is receiving from the divine mirror in the outer. Because if someone is telling you that you're this or you're that and they're upset, they're not like maliciously trying to hurt you, but they're genuinely upset or frustrated, then you have to understand that is a facet of yourself that is genuinely upset or frustrated with yourself. It's coming from the inner experience and it's reflecting in your outer experience for you to see, so that you can't avoid it anymore. You can't bury it or deny it anymore. Libra 12th house. Time for you to kind of see in the mirror of where you're falling short with your own progress and choose to make decisions, right? Because the overall guidance with all of these houses was essentially about partnership. It was about unity, right? That's the card. Unity is the remember card. You understand that the love shared with another is amplified and has a ripple effect across the universe. Other people in your reality are coming forward and available to you to help you make progress in your inner union, your inner integration, getting your mind and your heart in alignment with each other so that you can manifest your best reality. Okay? That was for Libra. Libra house by house. All right. We're going to get into Scorpio. We are going to get into Scorpio. So, Spirit, please. What is going on with Scorpionic energies as per the current astrological alignments, house by house? What is going on with Scorpio and Scorpionic energies and how they're being affected by the current cosmos, house by house? What is going on with Scorpio and Scorpionic energy? Knight of Wands. All right, just as an energy in general, let yourself be inspired, okay? Let yourself be inspired. Scorpio, first house. That's Scorpio rising, right? Scorpio, second house. Scorpio, third house. Fourth house. Fifth house. Scorpio, sixth house. Seventh house. Eighth house. Scorpio, ninth house. 10th house. 11th house. And 12th house. All right. Bottom of the deck is the Devil. Top of the deck is the Hermit, major arcanas. All right, with the Hermit on top, you know that you're going through Scorpio in general. You know that you're moving through the shadows and identifying things, okay? That is natural for your energy. There is a part of you that is very consciously aware that even if you're around other people, a house full of people, right, that you are definitely doing some solo work on a soul level, and that there is temptation all around you with the Devil card. There is temptation and or addiction all around you, okay? And you're seeking it out to identify it so that you can rid yourself of it, okay? Your overall guidance card, Scorpionic energy, as it pertains to the house in which Scorpio rules for you. What is the guidance per that house, your Scorpionic house? Humility and creativity. All right, remembering that you have developed a loving awareness that you and everyone else are the same but on different paths, and that you love to devise new ideas, innovations, and forms of illumination. You are on your own path. Everybody's learning the same lessons in different fucking times. You can't save anybody else. This is about you saving yourself, right? The humility that you are the same as everyone else. No better, no less. And you're all learning different shit. Okay? And that you can create a whole new reality that is unlike anybody else's story. Your story is not their story. Their story is not your story. Just because it happened to them doesn't mean it's happening to you. They're learning a certain lesson that you might not be learning right now. You might have already learned that lesson. You might be learning that lesson later. You might not even be attempting to learn that lesson this lifetime, but it's their big thing, right? It's the theme of their story. Understand, you create your reality. This is why you are doing the digging in the inner work. Okay? So Scorpio, first house. Scorpio rising. Scorpio rising, we have the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune, Scorpio rising, this is big for you. If you are focusing on yourself, which is the first house is the house of self. If you are focusing on yourself and doing the shadow work, that you're reflecting deep and looking at why you react the way you react and why you do what you do and why things trigger you the way they do, and you are finding self-approval and self-acceptance with the things that you choose, with the perspectives that you hold, because they create peace, or they create joy, or they create flow. They're in alignment with your passion. If you can self-approve because the energies you're in are positively aligned, everything is going to work out. Your entire life is going to transform with that energy. And that's spirit letting you know for the month of September that you have some big blessings coming in, because the Wheel of Fortune is a Jupiter card. Probably something you've been hoping for or wishing for a long time. Okay? So keep focusing on yourself. Allow the shadows or snakes or triggers of your past to disappear, so that your true balance and true wisdom of what your energy can create can come in. All right, Scorpio, second house. We have the Three of Wands. Now, the second house is that of possessions, right? Things that we own, whether it's homes, cars, clothes, jewelry, you name it. It's any type of possession, including people we feel belong to us in soul. Okay, that we feel intrinsically tied, bound, and connected to. We have the Three of Wands. Now, the Three of Wands is a journey card. So you may literally need to come into possession of some kind of travel ticket, okay, whether it's a train or a plane or taking a bus, getting out of the current environment. Whatever your current environment is, Scorpio second house, because I think you're in this vibration of watching all the other ships that are sailing and feeling like your ship isn't come in or your ship hasn't sailed. Okay. You may also need to upgrade your mode of transportation. You may need a new vehicle. One that is more fuel efficient, one that is not breaking down or nickel and diming you. You know what I mean? You may need to replace the tires on your car. But it's about the journey and the second house of possession. So for the month of September, instead of feeling like everybody else's ships are coming in and your ship hasn't even showed up at the port yet, you might want to take a trip to the actual docks and book a ticket onto your ship, which metaphorically speaking is you might want to get off your ass and start investing in yourself. Okay? Point blank, period. Scorpio, second house, you might need to start seriously investing in yourself. All of the money you put out on other things, you might need to invest some money in you. Whether that is, investing in yoga, or investing in better foods, or investing in new clothes, or investing in personal readings, right? Like yourself, or different courses or groups, like my Love Yourself group, for example, right? Investing in yourself. Whatever the best investment for you is. If you need a new vehicle, then you get a new vehicle. If you need new clothes, like, get yourself some fucking new clothes. Why are you wearing that washed out shit and reminding yourself that your energy is washed out and old? Feel good and get some new energy. Okay, Scorpio, second house. Like, reinvent your shit. If it's old, let it go. Get some new shit. Scorpio, third house. Scorpio, third house. Third house is communication and or education, and we've got the Six of Cups here. This is sacred soulmate, past life connection territory. So you may seriously need to learn, right? Education. You may need to learn from a sacred soulmate and try and do what they do. You know what I mean? Like, if their life has taken a turn for the better and things are working out and everything is great, and, you know, well, why? Why is everything great? Did they take a chance on themselves? Did they reach out to a person that they were connected to for a lot of years and said, hey, do you want to talk about it? Like, for reconciliation purposes or soul healing purposes, like whether we have a future or not, can we just have a conversation that's worth healing with? You know what I mean? Like, what choice did they make? Did they leave a toxic situation? Like, did they detach from family and leave a toxic family situation and then everything went up from there? You know, like, what is it that they did? Because this is where you're learning from a sacred soulmate who has shown you what to do, and or you need to reach out to them and take their best advice. Okay? And or you need to reach out to them and take their best advice. Because they're only going to give you unconditionally loving advice. If they're a sacred soulmate from past lifetimes that have re-entered your life in this lifetime, that's why they're here. That's why they're still connected with you, because you both are dedicated to the absolute healing and evolution of each other as souls. So if you need to have hardcore conversations with someone from your past or someone you feel like you've known forever, because you could have known them for 2 fucking weeks, but if you feel like you've known them for fucking ever, it's because you probably have, soul-wise. You've probably known them forever. And there's a reason why they're in your path and they've crossed you in this life, and it is to help you evolve. So take the unconditionally loving advice they would give you. Be open and transparent with them. They will give you great advice. Okay. Scorpio, fourth house. King of Swords. Fourth house is the house of home and the house of maternal issues or maternal lessons. Okay. Motherly energy. We have the King of Swords. So the King of Swords in this house, King of Swords is all about higher perspective, and it very much has that Saturn Aquarian energy written all over it, which is squaring, right? Saturn and Aquarius. Aquarius naturally squares Scorpio. They're both fixed signs, so they're naturally in disagreement, and or yield challenges that need to be consciously overridden. All right, so whatever is going on, because if you're Scorpio, fourth house, then your Aquarian house would be your 7th house of partnerships. Now, if we're dealing with that kind of square, especially because your Queen of Wands has a lot of Leo energy on it, okay, which is opposing that in the first house. Okay, so, you know, if we're just not getting into all the different dynamics across the board, however, you may seriously need to see things from a higher perspective. You might want to accept that there were some things that your mother wasn't wrong about. Not necessarily that what she did or didn't do was right, but that her doing what she did the way she did allowed you to see a perspective that you can inherently learn from without going through it yourself. Okay? You can know, like, let's just say your mother was unfaithful to your father, or let's pull out a random metaphor. Your mother was unfaithful to your father or some shit like that. You learned that an unfaithful wife causes instability in the husband, right? It's massively insecurity issue type shit. It's not okay. It caused a lot of turmoil for you when you were younger. You would know that it is not okay to date what is essentially, or partner with and commit to, a person who is non-committal, who is afraid of commitment, who is always looking for the next best thing, or has crazy insecurity issues and is seeking outer approval outside of just you, because you and no one else would ever be enough. Because that is essentially what happens with people who cheat. They have major insecurity issues and they have major commitment issues because of it. They feel like their partner is always going to leave them, and so they are always looking to the next person to fill the void in the event of something that has never happened yet or could possibly never happen. Right? So you learned something from your mother, whatever your lessons with your mother were, watching her, observing her, experiencing her in dynamics in and around the home. And you've learned what is essential and what is important and what is absolute bullshit, and created nothing but fucking problems. This is about seeing the higher perspective, that your mother was who she was for a reason, and it was to teach you what you value and teach you what you should not value. You should value someone who keeps a clean house and keeps up after themselves, and they're not like a fucking child that you're taking care of. It's valuable to have somebody who is clean and tidy and organized. It is valuable. It is not valuable to have an insecure, needy, unavailable partner. It's about seeing the higher perspective per your witnessing of your mother. All right, Scorpio, 4th house. Scorpio, 5th house. We have the Strength card. Now, the 5th house is all about sex, passion, creativity, kundalini energy, purpose, right? Where you need to have your greatest courage. We have the Strength card. So Scorpio with this Leo energy, right? It would be opposing your 11th house. Okay. If you have a dream, a best vision, what you wish in your heart to hearts between you and you would really transpire, right? Your ultimate, this is what I really fucking want to see. That's alchemizing, okay? You've got to keep your ego on lockdown. The part of you that wants to be upset, the part of you that wants to bring up the past and rip a new one, the part of you that can't let go and is holding a heart grudge or some shit, a part of you that feels taken for granted, a part of you that feels whatever. Like, you have to understand, people are all learning and healing just like you. And your lessons and their lessons are different, okay? And you might not have been able to help what someone else's lesson was while you were going through a lesson that just so happened to work out very nicely while the two of you were or are in reality together. Maybe, for example, an insecure person who is cheating all over the place is learning how to be faithful and learning that they're lovable. And the person that is being cheated on needs to learn lessons about self-worth and what they are willing and unwilling to tolerate because they value themselves. They know what they deserve, right? The lessons synced up very well. Now that this is in the 5th house, this is not about roaring. This is about receiving. This is about finding your strength and allowing yourself to be truly inspired and to create better, right? 5th house, creation energy, passion energy, purpose energy, kundalini energy. This is about your rising into what is essentially your masculine king status as an individual, as a soul, right? Masculine yang aspect of the self. Our yin and yang, it's your yang. This is about making better choices. Whatever is going on in your 5th house right now, if your scorpionic energy is in your 5th house, make better choices and quiet your ego, quiet your need to be right, quiet your pride. Let things be. Allow yourself to receive by making better choices, by acting on better choices so that you can receive a better outcome. Allow yourself to be better. All right, Scorpio 5th housers. Scorpio in the 6th house. 6th house is health and greater service to the community, or what your soul ripples, right? Your soul rippling energy and how that affects the other people that you experience in life. We got the Fool, which means, to be completely fair, I feel like health-wise, if you are dealing with some kind of an ailment, you can expect some kind of weird, miraculous healing. If you're in alignment, right? If you're definitely in alignment and you've been putting out positive, aligned energy, you've been trusting, you've been focusing on self-reflection and consciously improving yourself. If you've been putting out a vibration of unconditional love, which includes truth, which includes compassion, which includes everything that is difficult about these things, right? If you've been putting out positively aligned energy, I feel like you absolutely just miraculously healed some shit. Straight up. If you're not in alignment, you might expect, because the Fool is Uranian ruled, it's Uranus's card. Uranus is a wild card, random fucking energy, and your health could take a weird nosedive, okay? You could have some crazy shit fucking happen that feels like you just fell off a cliff. So if you've been putting out fear state, if you've been making choices based on fear, well, I'm afraid this is going to happen, so I'm doing this. Well, I'm afraid this person's going to say that, so I'm going to have this conversation with this person and have that conversation with this person because they'll have this conversation with that person, and we can avoid that whole conversation because I'm afraid of that conversation. Like, you know, making choices out of fear, doubt, worry, any type of misalignment, doing something malicious because you're angry, right? That kind of stuff is going to lead to a serious and radical detriment to your health. The Fool is a wild card. All right. So, Scorpio 6th house, stay in your light. Don't fall into your fucking shadow, because Scorpio 6th house, you can have, that's like that Scorpio 6th house, Scorpio rules death, regeneration, rebirth, okay? It was first ruled by Mars before it was ruled by Pluto. It has some crazy edge to it. If you have Scorpio ruling your 6th house, please do not fuck around with fear state, aggression, addiction, whatever the fuck you're doing, because you might have some wild fucking news that you don't want to hear. Like, I don't know, I have this pain in my side. You go to the doctor, oh, your liver's fucking failing. What? You know what I mean? Like, Scorpio 6th house, stay in alignment. Stay in alignment. You can miraculously recover from whatever it is you're dealing with if you're in alignment. And if you don't, it's going to take you to the fucking grave, because Scorpio is the fucking sign. It is the fucking sign of death, okay? Regeneration, but death. So pick your side. Right? Pick your side. Light or shadow, pick your side. And don't be surprised. Okay? Don't be surprised. Scorpio, 7th house. House of partnerships in the 7th house. We have the Queen of Wands. So the heart is filled with desire, filled with passion, filled with magic. Okay? You might be completely what is essentially spellbound by someone, okay? Someone who is mysterious, someone who is edgy, someone who is wild as the wind blows. You know, this is a energy of really wanting something taboo, okay? and feeling that energy integrating within your own self. Understand that when we talk about alignments and opposition, they're to be integrated. So seeing the Queen of Wands in opposition to the Wheel of Fortune, really understand that you going into this taboo, you following this heart's desire, you following this mystery, right, allows for some really great fortune to be had when you're not afraid of it. Right? The Queen of Wands is an energy that cannot be tamed. She's a heart that cannot be tamed. It doesn't mean that the heart can't be understood, that the heart can't be loyal, that the heart can't be committed. It's just that it's wildly authentic, and it is not meant to be put in a box. It's meant to burn bright. So if you're dealing with Queen of Wands energy in the 7th house, understand, Scorpio, 7th house, you cannot be tamed, and anybody who would put you in a box or try and contain your light is not in alignment with your highest fortune. Anybody that you would try and put a lid on them and cap them and possess them or be jealous or whatever, you're gonna fucking lose what sets your soul on fire. Okay, this person can essentially end up being a muse in your life. If you're dealing with a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or they have strong fiery energy in their 7th house, right? That their 7th house is ruled by Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. They're probably your fucking partner. Saturn in Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, right? Because Saturn is sometimes tied to commitments, long-term commitments and partners, where we have long, beautiful lessons with. You're dealing with a soul and or are a soul that feels like it cannot be tamed. Instead of trying to temper the flames, be the fucking fan that fires each other up. Be empowering, be supportive. Have lots of sex, like fiery, passionate sex, and just allow the creative Kundalini energies to kind of fire off, right? Especially because this energy is in great sextile. Especially with both lions on the card. There's lions on both cards. So let yourself get lost in authenticity for September. Okay? Scorpio in the 7th house. Scorpio, 8th house. 8th house is naturally ruled by Scorpio, and Scorpio covers a lot of area. We're talking death, regeneration, transformation, intimacy, children, legacy, and inheritance. Okay, it's very ancestral type stuff. We've got the 6 of Wands here, which is an awesome fucking card because the 6 of Wands is victory. That is the bare bones meaning of the 6 of Wands. It is a fucking victory. So either you are absolutely going to win as far as an inheritance goes and something is going to work itself out very nicely. You're going to create some kind of beautiful legacy because you've evolved out of a certain cycle, that cycle has ended, right? Death, that cycle of ancestry, that karma has ended, and you have come out victorious and are in a whole new book. You're not in that old book anymore. You know, it's no different than what would essentially be like changing your last name. You are no longer connected to that family karma and that family name. You legit have a new name now. You know what I mean? You're inheriting or creating some kind of legacy that is a complete fucking win. And I think it's going to transform your entire outlook looking forward. I think people are going to celebrate being around your energy, love being around your energy, look up to your energy. And I feel like you'll be able to connect with people in a much more intimate way because you've had victory over yourself in a certain arena. You will be able to give the best fucking wisdom to people who are still moving through that chapter, right? You're kind of like the victor on the other side, that the Scorpio's 2nd house is looking at the ships that have sailed and come in for other people and they haven't reached it yet. Like, they're still learning. You've got it, right? You've got it. That's why Scorpio second house has to believe that they can achieve it. Because you're essentially the person that, and the energy, right? You are aligned with the energy that other people are jealous of. Scorpio 8th house for September. Okay. Don't let the haters rain on your parade. You just keep fucking sailing into the sunset. Alright? Because that's a fucking win. 8th house is a win. You've overcome something big. Scorpio in the 9th house. Scorpio 9th house. 9th house is naturally Sagittarius' house. It is the house of mental exploration, expansion, and travel. And we have the Death card. So depending on what your placements are in Sag, if you have detrimental placements, right? Maybe you have a South Node in Sag. Maybe you have a Pluto in Sag. Now is not the time for travel. The Death card showed up in that house, and you have detrimental placements there. Okay, I would not be traveling for September with that card and detrimental or malefic placements in my 9th house, if that is the fucking case. All right, if you have Scorpio 9th house with very beautifully, positively aligned energies like Venus or Jupiter or Juno or Astrea or North Node or some shit like that, then you are absolutely going through a transformation and coming out larger than life with traveling. All right, larger than life with what is going on in your mind. You may be having flashes into past lives, all right? Dreams that don't feel like dreams. They're extremely vivid, all right? Maybe you're not actually having a dream. Maybe you're experiencing another timeline. Maybe you're experiencing another lifetime. So be aware of the different things that are going to be essentially blowing your mind in September when it comes to dream states and what is essentially not actually a dream. It's your current consciousness in this life being pulled to aid another facet of your soul living in another timeline or learning from another lifetime. All right. Scorpio ruling the 9th house. Scorpio with the 10th house. 10th house is about career and reputation and paternal lessons, right? Lessons we learn from our fathers and other fathers in our life experience. Okay, that includes uncles who are fathers. That includes being a father, or if you're a female, your baby daddy. Okay, this includes all kinds of paternal lessons with the 10th house. And the career and reputation aspect of it is about the person that we project into the outer experience. Okay, this is about the Lover's card. There's Gemini and energy in this card. So if you're dealing with a Gemini and father figure or someone with strong Gemini in places as a father, then this is important, particularly for you, because you are at a crossroads with the Lover's card. You're at a crossroads. Do you burn the family tree? Do you burn it? Or do you continue to be poisoned by the snakes that wrap around the tree? Scorpio in the 10th house. Yeah, you may have a reputation for being sharp-tongued and visceral sometimes because it's fucking necessary. And you may have a reputation for burning shit down because, damn it, it's fucking poisonous. It's a poisonous fucking tree. And letting that tree sit there is just going to poison everybody who tries to take refuge and shade under it. It's fucking poison. You might have a reputation for that. Understand you are doing divine work. There is an angel on this card, okay? You have a reputation for dealing, especially in September, for dealing harsh truths because you're put at a crossroad and you have to decide, am I going to continue to be poisoned by it, or am I going to free myself of it and no longer accept the poison, where I become the antidote? I become the solution. This is where you're at for September. Scorpio 10th house. I would hate to fucking cross you and be in misalignment. Love to cross you in alignment, because you're going to be an awesome energy to be around. It's completely transforming. You can completely change someone's life for the better with the Lover's card there. Someone in alignment, you could be the ideal lover for someone who thoroughly appreciates how brutally honest you are, because they are like that themselves. They're like that themselves. And if you can dish it and you can take it, I think you just met your divine counterpart. Because you can both be brutally honest and not be offended, but understand where it's coming from. Because people like you are brutally honest for a reason. Something's got to fucking stop the bullshit. They're going to be the same way. So if you can embrace that, right, that you have this reputation and that someone's going to value it because they also have it, then you can learn a whole lot from each other. And it is probably a blessed dynamic. Okay? Scorpio in the 10th house. You may also want to change or shift career paths. You may also want to take a hobby or a skill or a gift or talent of yours and bring it into the forefront. Start practicing with it. Start working on it. Especially if you do have a tendency to read people really well, or even feel like you're a mediumship and can connect with people who passed away, or if you're really drawn to the occult as a profession, you may want to start looking into it, right? You may want to start shifting in that direction, especially bringing it to online, because Gemini energy is sometimes tied to technology, okay? Scorpio in the 11th house. We have Temperance here. Temperance is Sagittarian energy. 11th house is dreams, goals, wishes, and friendships, right? This is soul tribe stuff. And we've got Temperance here. So when it comes to your dreams, your goals, and your soul tribe, know that things are working out alchemically in your favor. Things might not look the best now. You might not be able to see it now. Your dreams might look like a hunk of lead. But spirit, the universe, is putting on some kind of pressure, turning up some kind of heat, giving some kind of rest and pause, shaking some things up in order to turn it into gold. If there is something, some kind of unwanted element to your dreams coming into fruition, Spirit is removing the element that's not needed. It is removing the pieces that are not conducive to the ultimate outcome. You may or may not lose some friends, but you're going to gain some new ones in their place. Everything is working out in alignment with September. So if you do have Scorpio in the 11th house, and that is the ruler of your 11th house, know that everything is happening for a reason. It's a higher reason. These are angels at work. Okay? These are angels at work. Scorpio right now in general has South Node there. Everything is a little bit challenging, but there is no challenge that cannot be overridden. So allow the initiation of stability to take place with all of the momentum going on, with all of the changes going on. All of the change that is going on is to bring in stability, ultimate dream stuff. So don't stress out so much. What is meant to be is meant to be, and what's not is not, and that's divine. It's okay. Nothing is happening against you, it's all happening for you with Scorpio in the 11th. All right. Now Scorpio in the 12th. Scorpio in the 12th, we have the 4 of Coins. Now, the 12th house is all about self-undoing, illusion, and fear. It's about fear. And how the fears that we hold in our subconscious, right? Because it's a Pisces ruled house. It's a Piscean house. It's all about the subconscious and how we are pulled in 2 directions, where a part of us wants to go with the flow and a part of us is swimming upstream in resistance. What you fear undoes, right? Self-undoing undoes all of your highest aligned path. It's an illusion. It creates a detour. It creates distraction. It's Jack and Jill fell down the fucking hill shit. You have the 4 of Coins here. You're holding on to something. Scorpio 12th house is holding on to something, more than likely in the reality. Whether it is an environment that they're holding on to, whether it is a person that they're holding on to, whether it is a financial asset that they're holding on to, or a financial detriment that they're holding on to. It might be your fucking credit cards. Who knows? Scorpio has and deals with addictions. It might be drugs, because drugs are real life tangible things in the 3D. You can hold a bag of weed and you can take a line of fucking coke. You know what I mean? Whatever it is that you're holding on to in the 12th house, whatever you're afraid of letting go of, like, let it the fuck go. Person, place, thing, item, doesn't matter. Place, let it go. Do not be afraid. Whatever you are afraid of letting go the most, whatever you feel you need it the most, no the fuck you don't. And feeling like you need it is exactly why the fuck you need to let it go. You need this person, you have to let them go. They are in your fucking way. You need to be able to do what they're doing that you need them for. If they're providing a roof, then you need to figure out a way to provide your own roof. You don't need them for a roof. You need yourself. You don't need the drug to escape your terrible trauma memories from childhood. You don't need alcohol and substances. What you really need is to tell yourself you will never be like that, and that's all that matters. You will never be like the people that hurt you. Period. You will never let experience make your heart grow bitter and ugly. You don't need to escape what happened. You just need to learn from what happened and know that that is who they are, but it is not you. And their wounds are not going to define your life and tank your fucking lifetime. They're not going to put you in a fucking hole that you can't get out of. Whatever you are holding on to, let it go. Credit cards, cut them up. Cut them up. You don't fucking need them. You're holding on to it and they're going to drown you. They are going to weigh you down. If you're afraid to let it go, it is going to unravel and undo all of your best aligned shit and get you lost in illusion. Understand, Scorpio 12th house. Let it go. Let it go. It is not worth holding on to. All right, it's tempting. It's tempting. But you're over here identifying your fucking shadows. You're identifying your demons. You're finding them and you're taking them off at the head. You're literally beheading the snakes in your psyche, in your soul. South node's running through the sign. It is pinging off on whatever house Scorpio rules for you to end things that are in misalignment. Let the shifts and the changes occur. It is only going to work out better in the long run. If it is to your fucking detriment, let it go. And that is for Scorpio, Scorpionic houses. All right. Getting into Sagittarius. Sagittarian energy and the houses that Sagittarius rules for you. What is going on with Saggy energy? With the current cosmos and how they are affecting your birth chart, right? The house in which Sag rules. All right, one more shuffle. Sagittarian energies, please, Spirit. Sag rising. Sag second house. Sag third house. Fourth house. Fifth house. Sixth house. Seventh house. Eighth house. Ninth house, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Hot damn, Sag. Got the King of Wands on the bottom and the Five of Coins on top. So overall energies, Sag and Sagittarian energy is moving into the mastery of their spirit, okay? Manifesting from their energetic alignment. They are going through a major mastery cycle. And it's revolving around what is seen or appears or is perceived as abandonment, okay? Feeling like you are alone and not wanting to take the help that is available to you. It is being stubborn and not taking the help that is available to you. Specifically, spiritual or divine help. Because these two people who are all kinds of tattered, walking through the snow with no shoes and crutches and tattered clothing, are right outside of a church, and they could easily go inside the church and take refuge. They can enter into the house of the divine within themselves, and they choose not to. They choose to stay wounded. They choose to stay tattered. So this is a very stubborn energy where we feel abandoned by other people when really we've abandoned our own divinity. All right, Sagittarian energy. And we're mastering this. We're learning how to take a look at our own fucking energy and realize how we're being stubborn against ourselves. How we're not hurting anybody else but ourselves, right? Per the houses that Sag rules. What is the overall guiding energy? Please, Spirit, for Sagittarian energy as it pertains to each of these houses for those who would catch this message for September. Joy. Remember joy. Life is meant to be enjoyed. It's not meant to be hard. It's not meant to be a struggle. You delight in the love of life and bring a spirit of fun to all that you do. Sag, is that not your fucking best quality? Can you remember your light? Can you remember that life is meant to be enjoyed? And whatever house that Sag rules for you, like first house, you're meant to enjoy yourself. Second house, you're meant to enjoy your things. Third house, you're meant to enjoy conversation. Fourth house, you're meant to enjoy your home. Fifth house, you're meant to enjoy your passion and purpose. Sixth house, you're meant to enjoy your health and your ripple. Seventh house, you're meant to enjoy your partnerships. The people that you partner with, romantic, business, or otherwise. You're meant to enjoy the legacy that you're building. You're meant to enjoy what you can create as in this life when you expand into things. You're meant to be an enjoyable person to be around. You're not meant to be some fuddy-duddy bullshit, gloom, black cloud. People are meant to enjoy you. You're meant to enjoy your dreams. You're meant to achieve your goals and enjoy it. You're meant to enjoy the undoing of fear and being free, right? That is the overall guidance. Delight in the love of life and bring a spirit of fun to all that you do. Sag. Sag first house. Sag rising. We got the Ten of Swords. If you are Sag rising, you have to understand how badly you are betraying yourself in September. And I promise you it probably hasn't happened overnight. You weren't, completely in alignment and everything was sunshine and rainbows and Care Bears, like, in August. And then all of a sudden it's like, death and dark and storming clouds and black skies. You've probably been building up this energy for a hot minute because 10 swords don't just show up. You build them over time. Sag rising, understand. Because the Tower is opposing this house, you probably need to seriously end a toxic relationship because you're betraying the shit out of yourself with that person. You have probably focused so much on someone else and so much on their needs and so much on their happiness and so much on their judgment or so much on the opinion of other people that you have completely fucking betrayed yourself. When the fuck, Sag rising, did you stop mattering? When? As a fucking Sag, 6th house Sag person with a goddamn stellium in my chart, take it from me, please. When did you stop mattering? When? When did your feelings become obsolete? When did you give yourself permission to ignore all of the sadness that you feel? All of the mental anguish that you feel? When did you give yourself permission and say that was okay and acceptable? Because this person matters so much more than you. This opinion matters so much more than you. This judgment from whoever matters so much more than you. This person's stability and this person's reputation and this person's goals and this person's wishes are so much more important than the way you feel. Snap the fuck out of it. Sag rising. Whoever the fuck they are, get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Stop. Stop. You are hurting yourself, and your hurt is going to ripple to the people you would never want it to ripple to. I promise you. Sag rising, that is no fucking joke. I love you. Someone has to fucking tell you to stop. Someone has to tell you you fucking matter. And if that is just me here on YouTube today, well then you fucking matter. You are loved and you matter, and spirit is shaking the shit out of you. Like, hey, you cannot ignore the fact that you are fucking and utterly miserable with whoever the fuck this is. Get out. Get out. Tell them to get the fuck out. Whatever you gotta do, don't partake in this with them anymore. Sag rising. Saggy second house. Second house is of possessions. And the Seven of Wands is all about defense, defending the self. Possessions can be literal things that we own, like a home or a car or clothing or jewelry. It can also be, because it is 8th house axis, people that we feel belong to us. You may be defending someone or something, why you need this or why you need them, because of maybe they bring something into your life. Like maybe you're defending a dynamic with someone because, you know, they pay for the roof over your head, or you get to use their car when really they're just toxic and you need a break. Four of Swords on the opposing. You might need to stop defending something. If you have to make excuses or defend it, chances are it's in misalignment. You shouldn't have to convince anybody. If it's in alignment, no one needs convincing. Not even yourself. You're probably trying to convince other people because you're still trying to convince yourself it's a good idea when your soul kind of knows it's not. If you need excuses or reasons or need to validate it in some which way, shape, or form, that you need to find reasons and excuses, it's not in alignment. You can't defend that purchase. You can't defend that person. If you have to convince yourself or anybody else, it is not in alignment. If you want to get into the Seven of Wands in your light, come to the defense of your own stability and stop defending people that you feel you have to defend them and why they're in your life, and it's probably just because they're bringing something into your experience that you can create on your own better without them. You can achieve it without them. You don't actually need it. You don't need a fucking $300 purse. You just don't. Not right now, you don't. If people are looking at you like, what the fuck are you doing? Like $300 on a bag? You know what I mean? Like, if you have to make excuses for it, then you shouldn't be doing it. If someone says that shit to you, you're like, I don't need your fucking approval. I got every fucking reason to buy this bag. I don't need to explain it to you. Well, kudos to your $300 bag. It's in alignment. You don't need to make excuses to anybody. You don't need to feel like you need to validate your choice. You don't need to validate your choice. Great, you're in alignment. You feel the need to reason, excuse, and validate and convince, well, then you probably shouldn't have done it. Perspective. Okay? That's Sagittarius, second house. Saggy, third house. We got the Page of Swords. Now, this is all about, third house is about communication and or education. Page of Swords is about online, World Wide Web shit. It's also a spy. So you may, whether you realize it or not, be communicating with someone else that you don't realize you're communicating with because they're spying on you. They might be learning from you, and or you are learning from them and don't realize it because you're spying on someone else. And they're communicating with you, and you don't realize it. In your divine mirror, they're communicating with you. You probably need to take on their positive attributes and integrate them into your own self. They're happy and they're free and they're doing their thing, well then maybe you need to be happy and free and do your thing. And that's what's being communicated to you in the divine mirror while you're spying and you don't realize it. If you're putting out spiritual posts, if you're putting out positive memes, if you're putting out quotes and you're putting out all this wonderful stuff and you're in alignment with your soul and everything is great and someone is spying on you, chances are you're in their mirror telling them what they need to learn to do for themselves too. This is also a nod to people from the past that want to be immature and to not humor that. To come fresh with beginner's mind and just say, listen, I don't need to have this argument with you. I don't need to have this debate with you. I don't need to convince you of anything. I don't need to plead my case for the millionth time that I did or didn't do that. If you don't know me by now, then you probably fucking won't. Not in this life or not for a long time. You ain't there yet. This is some beginner's mind stuff. They're not your responsibility. And you are not theirs. And that goes the same thing for spying on people and vice versa. You're not their responsibility and they are not yours. Third house, Sag. You might also, if you're considering investing in like an online course, to go for it. If you're considering an online course or an online certification of some kind, that's a green light. Okay. Sag, fourth house. Fourth house is the house of home and maternal issues or maternal lessons, okay? Things that we learn from our mothers. With the moon card, there's secrets here. There's secrets here. So if you have Sag in the fourth house, either you're keeping a secret from someone else in your home, or people inside your home are keeping secrets from you. You could probably sense it, and you have to understand they can too, if you're the one keeping secrets. And the secrets have to do with subconscious fears. Okay? Fears that are being thought about but not talked about. Worries that are being thought about but not talked about. Doubts that are being thought about but not talked about. And you might have learned it from your mother. You might have learned it from your mother. To not talk about the things you're afraid of. To not talk about your doubts with whoever you're living with that's of importance. Especially if you're living with a partner or you're living with a roommate or other family, because sometimes the moon can indicate childhood wounding. So it's someone that you may be dealing with childhood wound triggers. And they are surrounding your mom. You might be afraid of becoming your mom because you don't necessarily see the beauty in certain things that your mother did. There might be certain things going on in your home, in the physical home itself, that need your attention. And you can't ignore it and pretend it's not there. Okay? Understand that if you're keeping things secret or you're afraid in any way, that oh, sorry. Yeah, that was getting on my fucking nerves. Whoever that was. Time for all that. You may straight up, especially because I literally just took a user off the channel for just blowing up my chat with nonsense. You might need to address the fact that someone is like moonlighting or gaslighting you. You might have someone in your home convincing you you're fucking crazy, or it's your problem, or you're the one at fault when you're not. And you're not listening to your intuition. And someone is mentally or psychologically trying to control you because they're dependent on you for some things that they're afraid of losing. And so they're trying to put you down a peg in order to make you feel powerless or to make you distrust yourself. You may have someone gaslighting you inside the home, convincing you that you're crazy or that you're the problem or that you're weak when you're not. So be aware of that, Sag in the 4th house. All right. Sag 5th house. Sag 5th house has the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups, I mean, the 5th house is all about passion, purpose, pursuit of creative, sexy energy, okay? This is authenticity. And we've got the 10 of Cups. So when it comes to your passion and your purpose, Sag 5th house energy, you're a fucking rock star. I think you know you're in alignment. Damn well, I think you know you're in alignment. I think you're feeling full. I think whatever you're doing, right, whatever your passion is, you're in pursuit of it, active in it, and it feels great. I think for the month of September, the more time and energy you put into your 5th house, the better you're going to feel, and the more it's going to manifest what is essentially a dream come true, emotional fulfillment. Don't need or want for anything. And we're not talking like don't need or want for anything material wise. We're talking don't need or want for anything emotionally. You're fucking happy. The more time and energy you put into your creative pursuits, your passion, what you could do every day and it would never feel like work, that's going to lead to some major 10 of Cups energy. Especially if you're collaborating. Because the 10 of Cups, it does involve more than one person. Especially if you're collaborating. If someone is in alignment with you and being supportive of you, and or vice versa, you're in alignment with someone and totally on par with them and supporting them, and you're encouraging each other, like, that's awesome energy, 5th house. We had a great productive day and have enough energy because we're so fired up from the feel good to still be intimate with each other. And go to bed feeling happy, healthy, whole, and spooning. Wake up again tomorrow and do it all again. Can't wait. That's that kind of energy. So stay in alignment with your passion and purpose because that's awesome. Okay. Sagittarius 6th house. Sag 6th house. 6th house is about health and service or the greater ripple to others, right? The energy that you put out, that you ripple into the experience for other people, right? For other souls here. We got the Star card. The Star card is beautiful Aquarian energy. It's miracle, okay? This is a card of miracle and healing. So the energy that you're putting out to the greater is miraculous and it is healing. So please do not underestimate yourself or what you're being guided to do. Also know, because it is a house of health, that if you have any ailments or anything that, you know, it doesn't matter if you have cancer, it doesn't matter if you have some crazy STD, it doesn't matter if you have some crazy nerve damage, it doesn't matter if you have had stomach problems, it doesn't matter if they told you were infertile and could never have kids. This is a miracle healing in regards to health. A radical healing. So whatever health-wise was going on in your body that was unwell or in a state of dis-ease, understand being in alignment this month, you have a huge window and or a guarantee to heal it. It's healed. It's not going to be an issue anymore. It's not going to be an issue anymore. Okay? Whether it is literally healed by miracle and just goes away, or whether you are able to afford a surgery, or maybe your insurance shifted and covers it now, and now you can have, you know, whatever it is removed right, that was causing the problem. Maybe you're going in for surgery to remove cancer and it's successful and there's no signs of the cancer whatsoever and you're completely healed of cancer now. You are no longer someone who has cancer, right? This is a miraculous level of healing. It is also a chance, because we're dealing with collective energy and rippling, for you to move into what is essentially star status. Star status. If you're in the public eye and things like that, know that there is a chance, a really good chance, that the cosmos are aligning in such a way that you end up gaining a lot of eyes and attention for what you're doing and the energy that you're rippling and putting out there for other people. That they're gonna be drawn to it like a moth to a flame. They're not gonna be able to get enough of it. Your energy, your healing is contagious in all the best ways. Okay? That's Sag 6th house. Saggy 7th house, we have the Tower. 7th house is the house of partnership. So if you have Sag in the 7th house, whether it is a romantic partnership, a business partnership, any other type of partnership where you and someone else have partnered up for a goal. For September. Understand. That partnership with the Tower there is probably going to fucking explode. It's gonna fall apart. It's gonna get leveled to the ground. Whoever you're in partnership with right now, actively planning things with right now, whoever you're actively partnering with right now, that's gonna stop. That's gonna stop. Especially if they're self-sabotaging Geminian energy. Because that would be your polar opposite on the 1st house of self. If you've got Sag, 7th house, whoever you are partnered up with right now is a complete detriment to yourself. Capital S. Yourself. And that partnership needs to end so that you can rebuild a solid foundation. Sagittarian energy is a self-fulfilling prophet energy. It is a mystic. It is a long-term, goal-oriented, hit the bullseye type energy. So if you are not in alignment with what you see in your highest vision, right? The self-fulfilling prophecy, your highest vision of partnership. If you are not in alignment with what you're doing or who you are partnered with in order to create that highest aligned vision, they will be removed. They have to be removed per September. They are not in alignment. They are keeping you from your highest good path and your highest good partner. They are keeping you from your long-term goal, your actual goal. Your pursuit of happiness, they are in the fucking way. Fulfillment, they're in the way. Feeling whole, they're in the way. You have a toxic partner. You have an ego trip that needs to be humbled when it comes to your partner. If we're talking about actual soul spouses, because, Sagittarius rules this higher long-term goal, whoever your actual partner is, that is not the one being destroyed, right? Whoever your actual partner is, you may be humbled to understand them. You may be humbled to understand the perspective of your partner, your actual partner, your soul-aligned divine counterpart partner. Because this is major resistance that needs to stop with the Tower. Ego humbling. Okay. Sagittarius 7th house. If Sagittarius rules your 8th house, right? It rules your 8th house. It starts your 8th house, or it's intercepted inside your 8th house. Sagittarius energy in the 8th. 8th house is intrinsically ruled by Scorpio. Scorpio covers a lot of area. It is death, rebirth, transformation, intimacy, legacy, and inheritance. It's all ancestral shit. All that deep stuff that gets buried, and we don't like to, acknowledge that it's there. But if it's toxic and it's buried, it tends to bite us in the fucking ass, and we don't realize how, the rug is getting pulled out from under us, and it's because of that deep buried shit. Eighth house. Your legacy. What you would inherit or leave for your children to inherit. Your death and rebirth. I think you're most definitely going through the death with the 4 of Swords there, because there is quite literally a coffin on the card. Quite literally. You're dealing with heartbreak and laying on the truth, as the swords and their positioning on the card would denote that the 3 of Swords, or the heartache, is hanging over your head, and you're laying on the truth. That you will not pick up that sword and wield it. You're putting your transformation on pause. You're putting the death of your old low vibratory version on pause. You're putting the rebirth of your high vibrating alignment on pause. You're putting your legacy on pause. You're putting your inheritance, what you deserve to receive, on pause. Your healed ancestral lineage, right, is on pause. Your legacy, your highest legacy, the way you would be remembered by your children, and the legacy that you've created, what you've taught them, is on pause. 4 of Swords, everything is on fucking stop. You need to stop essentially feeling so dead inside and pick up the truth, and stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop feeling heartbroken. Everybody hurts me. Everybody betrays me. Everybody I love, they can't accept me. Like, shut the fuck up and pick up the goddamn truth and start to wield that shit. Feel alive again. The truth is right there. You could easily reach it. And instead, you're praying to some God that you may or may not even believe in right now. You might, especially with the 4 of Swords and the 8th house being what it is, you might have a complete disbelief in God right now. Which means you do not believe in yourself. You don't believe in your ability to change. You don't believe in your ability to get out of the pain. You're stuck. Sag 8th house, unfuck yourself. Grab the truth and unfuck yourself. Saggy in the 8th. You got some fucking truth? Sagittarian energy? Be blunt. Blurt that shit out. Blurt it out. Sagittarius is great at that. Pull up that light of Sag and use it. Light that truth sword with some fucking saggy fire and just be really fucking blunt and blurt out the truth to whomever needs it. Whoever needs it. Blurt the truth out. I promise you, life will probably have a wonderful shakeup and realign you in something that truly feels alive. That you will actually feel again. That you won't be numb. 4 of Swords is fucking numb. And it's stagnation. Mental stagnation. Pick up the truth and blow your mind, okay? Sag in the 9th house. 9th house is intrinsically ruled by Sag. It's its natural house. It is the house of mental exploration, expansion, and travel. We got the King of Pentacles there. If you are in the pursuit of investing in yourself for higher awareness, if you are investing in spiritual coursework, if you have certain goals in mind and are willing to travel for them, Sag ninth house, you're a manifesting machine. Okay, the King of Pentacles is a manifesting machine. That is the Midas touch. Everything I touch turns to gold. That is a golden reality. It is a golden reality. If you are in pursuit of mental expansion and investing in philosophy and higher learning, you feel like taking a trip to the Tao or Buddhist monks, wherever the fuck, and seeing India, some eat, pray, love shit, like, now's the time. Sag ninth house, now's the time. If you are in spiritual pursuit and investing in spiritual pursuit, you are going to end up with the Midas touch, and everything in your life that you invest in will turn to gold. Any person that you touch will end up in alignment. For the month of September, you are fucking golden, Sag ninth housers, this month. Okay. King of Coins energy. Manifesting fucking machine. Like, I don't even think anything could stand in your way. You're like a fucking bull. Stamina and fucking endurance out the wazoo. You'll muscle your way through any situation. If it's rough terrain, it don't even fucking matter, because you've got the fucking balls and the spiritual strength to literally bull through it. So, Sag ninth house, congrats, you're gonna have an awesome fucking month. You tune into that energy. Don't let any other fucking squares or oppositional placements or detrimental houses get in your fucking way. Hone in on your ninth house, okay? Hone in on your ninth house. Sag 10th house. 10th house is career and reputation and paternal wounds or paternal lessons, right? Things that we learn from fatherly figures, not just our fathers, but people who are like fathers, are baby daddies if you're a female, or you as a father yourself. These are paternal things. Paternal lessons. And the person or the character, right, your reputation, the character that other people receive. With this polar opposition, right, this axis, if you have fears and secrets, right, within yourself that you're not talking about, things that you're feeling and thinking that you're not talking about, the way you're being received by other people is a fucking mess. They're looking at you like you're a mess. They're looking at you like you're an energetic nightmare to be around. You're probably full of anxiety. Because the Nine of Swords is anxiety through the fucking roof. And people are like, get your shit together. Well, how do you get your shit together? Talking about your fears. Actually talking about it. This is what I'm afraid of. This is what I'm worried about. Allow yourself to be reassured by the outer experience as a reflection of a facet of yourself that knows it's okay. Or that has solution. You don't need to be a fucking mess. You don't need to be stressed out. You don't need to fight your demons alone. There's aligned people in your reality. There's earth angels in your reality for a reason. When we have our darkest days and our darkest moments, we have our earth angels to pick us up and light the way. Do not be afraid. You might have learned from fathers in your reality to keep your fears, keep your anxieties to yourself. It's my problem. I can't talk about it. I don't want it to be anybody else's problem. You're not making it their problem if you're willing to hear their solution and take action on solution. You're a problem if you talk about what you're having anxiety about, if you're talking about what you're having fear about, and then getting all this great advice and doing nothing and staying in your fear and your anxiety. I have no options. There's nothing I could do. I have nothing I could do. Everything's going to fall apart. I'm afraid. And you don't do anything. And people are like, no, you could do this. No, you could do that. No, I can't. And they're saying, yes, you can, though. Well, yeah, then you're a fucking problem. Then you're a nightmare energy to be around. You're a ball of fucking nerves, and you're worrying about everything under the sun, and you're not solution-oriented. You are, I want to stay stuck in my problems-oriented. what you project to other people in September, you're either going to override your fears and talk about it, or you're going to be the person that everybody is fucking avoiding because your energy is horrendous. Don't be surprised. If you are not solution oriented and you are not looking to solve your problems and take action in the right direction and give some things a shot, people are probably going to be avoiding this shit out of you. If you're a Sag 10th house. Be solution oriented. Don't succumb to fear. Don't feel like you're alone. Talk about that shit. Sagittarius, 11th house. We have the Hermit card. All right, 11th house is hopes, dreams, wishes, goals, and friendships like soul tribe. Deep soul bonds. And we got the Hermit. So Sag, 11th house, you might not be feeling like you have a lot of friends right now in September. You might not be feeling like your dreams are achievable right now. You want them to be, which is why you're solo right now and your friends aren't as in the picture as maybe they would otherwise be. That, or you're partying so fucking hard that, you know, your dreams are falling to the wayside and you're full blown like finding your demons and partying with them instead of slaying them. Hermit in the 9th or Hermit in the 11th house, that's Virgoian energy. Virgo and Sag are naturally squared. They are both mutable signs. This house right here would be your Virgo house. Your 8th house. You might be freaking out like you don't know what legacy you're going to leave behind. You don't know what you're going to inherit from your parents. You don't know if you're going to be able to do anything or inherit anything at all, right? You might be dealing with situations in your outer experience ancestrally that are on pause. Go check out the Virgo reading that I did for your Virgo 8th house, because that's going to be something that is distracting you from your 9th house mission. Or your 11th house mission, forgive me. I keep wanting to say 9th house. You might really need to get into that mindset, okay? Whatever your 9th house is. That's sextiling energy. Libra 9th house awareness. This is where you got to shine a light on some things. Okay, and remember that joy is possible. Dreams come true are possible. You can't lose faith with this axis. You can't lose faith that this is real. That the dream come true and happiness and collaboration is real. If you feel like you're alone and your friends are missing, instead of reaching out to them to hang out, reach out to them for them advice. Reach out to them for advice. It'll probably serve you well. Get some direction, get some guidance. Especially because 11th house is naturally ruled by Aquarius and Saturn's there right now. Saturn's retrograding there right now. You're probably redefining what your dream is and what your dream looks like. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you're going to have to commit to a path. What do you want to create? What dream do you have? What goal do you have? What do you wish for? And then once you have that decided, because you have to decide what your dream is, what your goal is, everything else you choose has to be in alignment with that goal coming to fruition. So ask yourself every time you're making a choice or decision to have a conversation, not have a conversation, take an action, not take an action. Is having or not having this conversation or taking or not taking this action putting me in alignment with the goal that I've committed to, that I've decided on? Because if it's going to get me closer to that goal, then I'm going to do it. If it's not, then I'm not. If not having a certain conversation is going to get you closer to achieving your goal, then don't have that fucking conversation. Not now, maybe later. Is this action, if I take this action, is it risking the commitment I've made to this goal? Yes, it'll risk it. Okay, then I can't make that choice. I can't take that action. Sag in the 11th house. Sag in the 12th house. We got Judgment. Very scorpionic energy. So you might have things sextiling or bleeding in from your scorpionic house that would be your 11th house. Sag 12th house. 12th house is about self-undoing, illusion, and fear. Where we fear the judgment, okay? Where we fear we are being judged. If you are afraid of being judged by God, because there's angels on this card. If you're afraid of being judged by God, whether you believe God does or doesn't exist is irrelevant. Because in the event that God does exist, right? Let's assume for a moment. Let's pretend. If you don't believe in God and you're an atheist, that's fine. Let's assume for a moment that maybe God exists. Would God judge you for something? Would God judge you for wanting to be happy? Would God judge you for putting your best fucking love out there and going all in? Would God judge you for using drugs and neglecting your kids? How would God judge you? That's the kind of light you need to be aware of from within yourself, whether you believe God exists or not. Because you as a self, capital S, as a soul with a spirit, in your subconscious, in your psyche, which is the house that is intrinsically ruled, right, 12th house by Pisces, the subconscious and the psyche. If in your psyche you think you would regret an action, if you're afraid of the outcome, what could happen, don't deal in what ifs and coulds and maybes. Deal in guarantees and guarantees only. Do not be afraid. You would never regret pursuing what makes you happy. You would never regret putting the best of your heart out there because someone needed that kind of love. Someone needed that kind of consideration for the time that they were in your life, whether it was temporary or long-term. You can never regret putting your best love out there because they fucking needed it. You can never regret those things. Do not be afraid of what you could never regret. And if you might regret it, lay it to rest. Lay it to rest. If you deal with addictions, lay it to rest. If you deal with, I don't know, let's say negative self-talk, lay it to rest. Because would you regret talking bad about yourself to someone who's looking at you with beautiful eyes of love and compassion, and they're looking at you like, I don't know if I could even save this person because they feel really negatively about themselves, like they got a lot of potential, but I don't know if I want to get that close to them because they're really fucking negative and down about themselves, and that's telling. Would you regret it then? talking bad about yourself if you knew that it was off-putting to people that never even looked at you that way to begin with and never would have had you not talked badly about yourself in the first place? Think about that. If you could regret it, if the result would potentially be regrettable, don't do it. Don't be afraid to start talking better about yourself. Don't be afraid of having divine mirror conversations and looking in the mirror and saying, you know what, I fucking love you, we got this. Look in an actual mirror and say, you know what, you're a fucking powerhouse, you are capable, I trust you, I love you, we got this. Talk to your reflection in the mirror positively. Stop hating what you see. Because you could be drop dead fucking gorgeous and hate the person staring back at you. You could see the ugly on the inside. You could see the fear on the inside. You could see the insecurity on the inside. You could see the detriment. And if you can see it, so can everybody else. Stop being afraid to resurrect your most beautiful parts. Especially if you killed them because you accuse them of causing you pain, when, you know, giving your best heart to somebody isn't what caused you pain. Their pain and your inability to heal it hurt to witness. But loving to the best of your ability is not what hurt you. You understand? That's Sag 12th house. See the bigger picture. Your love is never wasted. Your love will never go without appreciation, because somewhere along the line you planted a beautiful long-term seed. Sagittarian is long-term energy. Sagittarian energy is long-term. You shoot the arrow today and it hits the bullseye tomorrow type energy. Sometimes tomorrow is a decade from now. Sometimes tomorrow is when someone is on their fucking deathbed and they realize that everything that you did and everything that you said was everything to them. It changed their life. And you might never receive the actual acknowledgement of credit, but that don't mean you didn't fucking work some miracle. So please do not be so hard on yourself. And if you're afraid of someone coming back from your past and reliving a nightmare, if you're afraid of repeating old cycles, like, stop being afraid, trust yourself. You wouldn't allow that cycle to repeat. You can trust your intuition. You can trust it. You can trust and discern what is in alignment with your goals and what's not. You can trust yourself. You don't have to give anybody a chance you don't want to give a chance to. No one said you have to. If you don't want to, you don't want to. And if you do, you do. And it's nobody's fucking business if you give someone 20 chances. It's nobody's fucking business. Oh, you give this person so many chances, they hurt you every fucking time. Okay, yeah, but if you're guided to give somebody a 21st chance, then that's what the fuck you're guided to. It's no one else's fucking business. You do what feels right for you. You do as your soul guides you. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. The house of self-undoing and illusion, the house of fear, undoes your highest good path. If you're afraid of judgment, if you're afraid that you would judge yourself and regret it later, if you are afraid that your choice you would regret it later, then do not do it. It is not in alignment. If it would cause you regret, it was misaligned. And now you have to resurrect that issue and right that wrong, the judgment card. If you have regrets, address them, resurrect it, bring it the fuck up and address it. Because you fucked up. If you let fear ruin something and you made a regrettable choice, now is the time to acknowledge the regrettable choice and own up to it. Bring light to it. Let the divine do what it does and heal it. You just do it. And that is Sag 12th house. So, we are going to wrap up we are going to wrap up this part of the segments, and I will be back for the remaining 3 signs, right? We have Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces left. So, love you guys, and see you again soon.